Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to have another young Indian with us, part of the Voice of the Young series. Right now, we have with us Akanksha Bassi. Let's listen to her. Over to you, Akanksha. Please go ahead.
Hi. Hi, good evening, and thank you, sir, for giving me a chance to speak. Um, Starting with my introduction, I am from Chandigarh, and then I did my graduation from Punjab University. Then I've always thought what to do next. There's always this curiosity with me that uh, how can I add more, how can I add value. uh, so that led me to thinking what I want to do because I did my bachelor's in bcom. I wasn't much aware what I'm supposed to do next. Economics is a subject that I've always been interested in. It was um, while even thinking about the problems or attending the lectures, there used to be a different spark while doing it. So that led me to join Gokhale Institute of Politics and Economics in Pune. And there I discovered what economics is about. I've There I discovered Austrian economics, libertarianism. Understood that there is a class besides our mainstream economics, that is mainline economics. While studying that, I discovered public policy. Uh, that you know, I still remember the day I was attending a lecture in Delhi on public policy. I don't remember the specifics of the lecture, but the speaker said something about public policy that it gives you a chance to bring a change. That was almost music to my ears. I felt like that, this is it. This is what I want to do for next. um, so then my journey began from there. After my post graduation, I did a research internship with Center for Civil Society in Delhi. Then so I I'm used to attending lectures, and um, I just uh, every time listening to anybody or any speaker, any author, any economist, I've always tried to um, see what connects, as in what connects to me, what how can I add further, as I said. So I think um, that um, gave me that has been a confusion for me. Contrary to what the belief is, I have been a little unsure about what goes on in the world. To further articulate it properly, uh, I see people, I hear people, but most of the times, I think 99% of the times, people just don't make sense to me. I mean, there's so much noise out there. I do not understand what is relevant and what is not relevant. Um, I've always tried to put my principles and my moral values above everything, even above my work. Um, so when I was practicing public policy, when I started doing some work in public policy, I understood that, classroom public policy, discussing about people, about laws, about everything related to it, did not feel um, very productive to me to be discussing it in a classroom filled with people from different backgrounds. And this is how I quoted that, a room filled with people who have everything on their plates, and a room where the ACs have been turned on. How will we understand the plight of the people who are on the streets? Uh, you know, Policies are made for those in our country. Policies or welfare is for the people, for the 80%, for the 90% of the Indians who are middle class, who are out there on the street, who are just trying to live their lives, um, which is very different from an India where the power resides. So that led my journey to go to Bihar to work on the grassroots levels. I joined as a political consultant, but I'm not ashamed to say that I wasn't aware what politics is. I did not even know the P of politics. That is something I joke about. But an year on Bihar on the grassroots level taught me a lot of things. That there are a lot of contradictions to the world where I live in. There is a lot of injustice that goes on, which my mind cannot comprehend. There's an India which depends on their God to uh, give them their fair due, fair share of. There's an India who just wants to live peacefully and do not bother in the political propaganda that has been consumed, that has been consuming our country. So yeah, and I observed a lot of things, and I guess I feel too much when that's empathy. So that comes in handy when you want to become a researcher, right? So yeah, and then I think after an year um, on the ground, on the grassroots levels, I see the world from a different lens now. I see different perspectives. But one thing that is sure about me is that I don't want to stop learning. I mean, this is something I've always been, I've always had a curious mind. I wanted to know everything about everybody, everything about everything. So, yeah, I'm not much of a talker, but this, this, this feels weird in a way.
Okay, if it feels weird, let's make it normal. Okay. Tell us about what you did in Bihar. Which part, how, where, what all happened to you? What made you, some examples of injustice, some examples of living with God, examples of what you, just some details.
Yeah, I will give that. Even before going to Bihar, I've worked on the field, not for big projects, but some little projects in college and an internship. So my journey in Bihar started as a political consultant, as I mentioned, and I went to Ara. Um, there's a district, Ara,
Yes,
Bhojpur.
yes.
Yeah. So there I am somebody. I'm a Punjabi and from Chandigarh, and my city is. I don't know how to say it. It's a 180-degree turn. It was a 180-degree turn when I went to Bihar. I did not understand the language, of course. I did not understand how how everything worked, how politics worked. And then when I got there, it was a very different India, I guess. the, the I had to go to different villages to talk to local government officials, local um, the government, the people in power, the sarpanch, the mukhias, and I every little thing about them, their administration, their governance. It was sometimes it was mind numbing to me.
Mhm.
Um, the way they spoke about their people. Um, you know, Bihar is the state, one of the states with lowest GDP in the country, right? And largest percentage of migrant workers. And you know, I, I saw that how it was. So I don't know how to put this, but I saw how people left their homes for to make their own living and to earn their living. They had gone to different states, and to me, it felt it used to feel so normal when I am in my city, when I get introduced to people working, and most of the my workers are Biharis or UPIs. But when I went to their homes, when I realized that how the families live without their sole earner, how difficult their lives are, that just that was difficult to even comprehend for my brain. I would never be able to do that, um, unless I'm paid very good amount, or unless I have to work in an elite job. uh, that is something was uh, difficult for me. And then this is not all of it, right? I saw um, how corruption, how politics has its roots deep into the system. You know, Bihar was one of the first states to give 50% or of their political reservation to SC/ST population and the women as well, also the Muslims. Um, I used to think personally, having a belief that people are by nature ingenuine, and but even if I went to the villages where the community the political person was from an SC/ST population, um, sometimes they did not care. They cared about themselves, their power, their status, that it was so entrenched they forgot that what was their main aim in the first place, to to give a better life to their community people as well. I have been brought up in a I've I even after spending this year, the past year in Bihar, now I understand that I am from a privileged family, privileged background. I have the privilege to say that I am from a general category. Um, Not as privileged as the male counterpart of my family is, but better than many of them. Uh, I haven't, and my forefathers or my parents or anybody from my family had to, deal with the racism, the casteism um, that has happened to many of the countless people out there, right? Even when your religion is different, you are questioned. And my mother, she never taught me. I mean, I was brought up in a house where even to say this is a privilege, that if whoever came to our house, no matter what caste they belong to, were treated equal, were given the same utensils that we've been given to eat from, to drink from. um, but there it was a different picture. um, the, the the first question that I uh, was usually asked is that what is your caste, and that was so normal for them. I mean, it is so normal for the people usually. um, yeah, it just was a tight slap on my face, on to see that this is the reality that I don't know how many Indians have lived, and have been living. So yeah, and every time we used to visit villages, the plight of the schools. There were you forget the infrastructure of the school. The children there, with their tattered clothes and um, tattered school bags, with not even that they did not even had shoes to, to go to their schools. It just felt unfair to me. It just felt so unfair that me with my fancy clothes and fancy transportation medium, I am going there to interview those them. Yeah, and I remember a story. We went to this sarpanch's house, and he introduced us to two women who belong to the scheduled caste. And so he was telling us their story, that these women, they work for 12 hours a day, morning to evening, matlab 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. um, as bonded I mean, it's not the right term to use now, but they work uh, with a big landlord on his land, and they are paid 100 rupees for their 12-hour labor. I was I had tears in my eyes just thinking that, and if they are, and further, he added further that um, the landlord, he cuts that as well. 25 rupees will be cut if they are late by half an hour or so. I had no words. I just got into this entire thought that, you know, existentialism, I would like to say, that what is the point of anything? Where, I saw a different India, a
mm,
different world, I would rather say.
mm.
And this is just one story. I feel that there are countless stories like this in India, in the world. Yeah, to help them or to do something for them to be uh, is has been on my mind um, ever since.
Okay. Well, that's a great thing to hear from you. So I'm very happy to hear it from you. And we can talk about it offline a little bit. But let's continue here. What are you doing after coming back from Bihar?
Yeah. Um. So it was not a very fortunate event. I had to come here due to personal uh, emergency, and then I'm just between jobs now. I've been doing this internship with Congress, writing parliamentary notes and drafting um, questions for the monsoon session that went by. And then I did another internship with where I wrote a research brief on Bihar, my journey, Bihar, how governance
Mm,
uh, pertains in on the grassroots levels, and how youth, what impact it does on the youth.
mm,
Yeah, and then and then after that, it just got over like a week ago, and
mm,
yeah, I'll be applying to more policy organizations, think tanks, and anything that I think which can help me work on the grassroots levels more than
yeah.
anything.
All right. Let's go back to your younger days. And of course, you grew up in Chandigarh, you told us. It's a city that many people in the world have heard of because it was planned city. And it was a great
That,
a great experiment at that time because no new city had been planned in recent times. Okay, there were plans earlier, but it was one of the world's first planned cities at that time. And in the recent times before that, of course, since then, the things in Chandigarh are no longer sticking to the original plan, I guess.
yeah,
But
yeah.
never mind that. Tell us what life is like in Chandigarh.
It's a slow city. I went to Delhi. I could not. I did not love the city per se because here the weather is different, people are different, life is totally different. We are slow paced, and we enjoy our walks. Half of the Chandigarh loves to walk, I guess. um, the roads are beautiful. It's so uh, so being a planned city, you see the lights, the signals everywhere, right? But as I went to Bihar, I did not even see one single street light signal, and that was a very I don't know, cultural shock, I would say. uh, that I got, the first thing I got when I went to Bihar. So yeah.
Okay. Now, how did you make your? I'm trying to get, you are pretty senior now in terms of young people. just trying to get some things from you for younger people. How did you make your decisions? Who guided you? What were the ways in which you took BCom? Why did you take BCom? Why did you choose to go from BCom to Econ? What was it like in Pune? People will like to hear that. Though it's not earth-shaking things. It's not like casteism in Bihar, but it's something that's of interest to younger people, which this new technology allows. Hey, I want to know what life is like in Chandigarh. I want to know what life is like in Pune. So tell us your perspectives.
So, as I told you, that curiosity, I guess, curiosity leads me everywhere. I am very curious about people in general, the cultures, especially the cultures. I enjoyed my time in Pune. It was the very first time that I met Malayalis. I met Maharashtrians. I never knew people from other cultures, other state. So Chandigarh being a pretty small city, right? So yeah, I enjoyed my time there. Taking in, soaking in the cultures that were introduced to me.
Hmm,
Uh, so I made so many friends from different states, and yeah, the curiosity and the learning, the idea that I want to learn, I want to see the world,
hmm,
how that has been the core of it. And going to Bihar um, would would also be partly due to the curiosity I had, that I want to work on the grassroots levels and see how public policy uh, works out, how it is. And partly I'd say that it was my destiny. I believe in that as well. So I got to see the Bhojpuri culture, the Bihari culture,
hmm.
and that was also quite great.
All right, wonderful. Wonderful about Bihar. So I think, what are your tips to young people? What would you say to somebody who's still in maybe 12th or first year bachelor's? What kind of tips would you have for them?
I don't think I am the right person to give that tips.
Okay.
There's a beautiful line by this great personality that, once you achieve something, then you can preach philosophy. But yeah, I guess never let go of the idea of learning constantly. I think for me as well, things will follow. Just keep on learning and being curious about the world in general.
Okay.
And to think. It's very important. I think nowadays, children are forgetting it. We've been so consumed by materialism that we forgot to just think basic things, not what the thinkers are teaching us, what the books teach us, but how we think on our own.
Mm,
That is something I don't find in people very much. That is why I usually tell that 99% of the times I uh, see so much, I hear so much noise, that I used to be confused about what is relevant and what is not relevant, but now I'm not. I'm very clear, very sure that who makes sense and who doesn't, who is relevant, who isn't.
mm. Okay. Anything else you want to add here?
No, I don't think so. I would want to.
Okay. All right. Then thank you, Akanksha. Let's end it here today, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Let's
Thank
end it here today. Stay online. I want to talk to you. But in the
you.
meantime, let's say bye to everybody else. I'll be
Yeah,
back with another young
thank you for
person or an
listening to me.
expert soon. Till then, bye, everybody.